I have absolutely no idea on where to start this review. Really, what am I supposed to say? My brain is thoroughly fried after watching this anime. What anime, do you ask? The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, of course! The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is based off a series of light novels written by Nagaru Tanigawa and illustrated by Noezi Ito and published in Kadokawa's Shoten Sneaker magazine. The story follows a high school girl named Haruhi Suzumiya and her antics around her school club, the SOS Brigade. The story is also seen by the perspective of her classmate Kyon, who narrates the series. So you want to see more? Unfortunately, the story of the anime is a little too complicated to explain without spoiling a major part of the series, so I think it's really wise to start off with the characters. Haruhi is a rather eccentric and energetic girl who finds normal life incredibly boring. Thus, she only becomes interested in supernatural beings and phenomena, as well as other mysterious occurrences.
I'm Haruhi Suzumiya, from East Junior High. First off, I'm not interested in ordinary people, but if any of you are aliens, time travelers, or espers, please come see me. That is all.
If you would like, Miss Suzumiya, I could hook you up with a couple friends of mine. I believe their names are, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. I'm pretty sure you would have a blast with those two. She's also highly unpredictable depending on her mood. She can be energetic, passionate, and free-spirited one minute, then unnecessarily mean, extremely demanding, and cruel the next. Did I mention she can also tend to be quite the dominatrix, especially when it comes to Mikuru?
Kids, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good. It's your body. No one has the right to touch you if you don't want them to. So what do? First, you say no. Then, you get out of there.
She also unconsciously has a special supernatural power that ironically attracts the attention of an alien, an esper, and a time traveler who find it their mission to study her. What is that power, you say? I'm going to be a jerk and decide not to tell you. After all, if I did, I would be spoiling a major part of the show's storyline. Also, when she gets excited about something, she tends to do whatever the hell she wants in pursuit of that said something. The opinions and feelings of others be damned. One example of this is how she tries to win over a brand new computer from the school's computer club.
What are you doing?
One more shot!
That makes me a very sad panda.
I have photographic evidence of blatant sexual harassment. If you don't want any of these pics to show up all over campus, hand over a computer and be quick about it.
This is ludicrous. You forced me to touch your breasts. I'm innocent, I tell you.
Wonder how many people are gonna listen to your side of the story, you sexual harasser.
What? Hang on, all the club members here are witnesses.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Then I'll tell everyone at school that all you geeks ganged up on her and her.
Excuse me, but isn't extortion the more serious crime taking place here? I seem to remember some chick who made similar allegations against the Duke Lacrosse boys a while back. Out of boredom, she enlists Kyon and 3 other students into her own club and calls it the Spreading Excitement All Over the World with Haruhi Suzumiya Brigade, or SOS Brigade for short. Sorry. The club's goals, according to her, is kind of a paranormal detective agency. Not too much like a certain other show that needs no introduction. She's also very competitive and will accept any challenge that crosses her without hesitation, regardless of difficulty or time constraint. Her constant optimism and overconfidence makes her seem rather arrogant. She places a lot of trust in her brigade members, especially Kyon, to get the task done, whatever it may be. Though this sometimes can make her seem selfish and unkind. But when it comes to the paranormal, as Haruhi plays the role of the believer, Kyon on the other hand plays the role of the skeptic. Not too much like her. Well, anyway, ever since Kyon interacted with Haruhi when nobody else in her class would, Kyon becomes Haruhi's main partner for discussion and advice. This includes discussion on the creation of the SOS Brigade, to revealing personal thoughts and asking for advice on how to run the brigade. As such, he is often the voice of reason for the SOS Brigade. He will often intervene in Haruhi's schemes when she behaves too erratically, but much to his irritation, this responsibility is his alone, since the other members passively follow Haruhi's schemes. Since he is so trustworthy, the other 3 brigade members all revealed their secrets only to Kyon. All 3 happen to rely on Kyon for interaction with Haruhi, in a matter such that her boredom would not awaken her powers. They also seem to rely on him as a sounding board for their ongoing missions to monitor Haruhi. Speaking of which, let's talk about the other members of the SOS Brigade. First, there's Yuki Nagato. At first glance, she looks like your average quiet bookworm who is so into reading that she ignores everything else around her. She never officially joins Haruhi's SOS Brigade, but still observes and takes part in club activities, while still being the only member of the literary club. She's mostly quiet, but when she does speak, she talks in a soft monotone voice and usually provides a complex explanation using mostly scientific terms to explain even the simplest of things.
There is a localized non-corrosive alternate space in this room. It's happening independently in limited mode. Take it. I changed the elemental boost information.
Elemental what?
Homing mode.
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Jeez, it's almost like she's some sort of alien android or something. Next, there is Mikuru Asahina, who is forced into the club by Haruhi Suzumiya. The only reason Haruhi wanted her to join the SOS Brigade was for her sex appeal due to her cute appearance. As such, she is often teased by Haruhi, even to the point of sexual harassment.
That makes me a very sad panda.
She is also a time traveler, and as such, much about her is unknown, including her age. When asked about such details by Kyon, she would often reply,
That's classified.
She is also very shy and easily gets scared or flustered, even more so whenever Haruhi is involved and makes her do embarrassing things.
No, I don't want it! No! Let's go! Yeah!
Playboy's Warriors will be calling in 3, 2, 1. As a result, Kyon sees it as his duty to always watch over her and protect her. Finally, there is Itsuki Koizumi. He is the last member to be recruited by Haruhi into the SOS Brigade due to him being a mysterious transfer student. He was sent by a group of espers to monitor Haruhi and to keep her emotionally stable so that her powers would not be awakened. What kind of powers does this chick have that everyone is so hell-bent on keeping her from using them? Is she some living embodiment of the Matrix or something? Well, anyway, Itsuki tends to work more towards keeping Haruhi in a good mood, and because of that, he does not usually help Kyon stand up against Haruhi's actions. Well, I don't want to spoil too much more, so let's conclude. Nudity is pretty minimal, but there is some amount of crude humor in this show, so no stars for nudity, but 3 stars for crude humor. As usual with shows like this, the amount of foul language in this show is mostly mild and used occasionally, so I will give this 2 stars. Violence is mostly minimal, but there are instances where blood is shown, such as a certain scene where Yuki is stabbed in the chest with fragments from a desk chair during a fight with a rival alien. So, just because of that scene alone, I will give this 3 stars for violence. Well, what do I think of this show? For starters, the story of the anime runs in a really strange format. Half of the episodes in this show are standalone episodes that are pretty much told in a single episode, while the other half are connected to the main story of the show. Come to think of it, this format does sound kind of familiar, doesn't it? However, the show was also aired in Japan in a non-linear order, practically confusing everybody that saw it. I wonder what was going on in the producers' minds when they made this. Okay boys, here's what we've got. I have here a deck of playing cards, each representing an episode from this show in their correct order. What we're going to do is throw the cards in the air and air the episodes in the order that we collected them. Nobody's ever done that before. I'm pretty sure it won't confuse any of our viewers and possibly piss them off. But to make things even more confusing is that when the show aired a second time on Japanese TV, all new episodes were added into the show, chronologically intermixing with the older ones. Another thing that confuses me at times is when Kyon uses inner monologue that sometimes I can't even tell if he is narrating or thinking to himself, and will even seem to do both at the same time at certain points in the show. Other than that, the show is pretty fun to watch. The characters are lovable, and the show has many different plot twists and turns to keep you interested. Most of the time, the series relies on its humor, though sometimes the show tends to lean towards more serious overtones. But I must say, the jokes in this show are very well written. The show also utilizes a few anime in-jokes as well, referencing shows and games like Phoenix Wright, Full Metal Panic, Evangelion, and so on. Overall, the show is pretty much a subtle satire on mythology and religion. For example, Kyon will often compare certain situations he is engaged in with stories from Greek and Roman mythology, Haruhi's desire for the extraordinary, the questioning of the existence of God among others, and other examples which would give away much of the show's plot if I were to explain them. So overall, story-wise, I would give this a 3 out of 5 stars. I love the soundtrack in this show. Much of the show's music is pretty catchy as well as fun to listen to, especially when paired up against some of the funniest sequences in this show. But my personal favorite song in this show has got to be the opening theme. The opening animation paired with this song gives you only one message: prepare to be amazed. Oh, and did I mention Aya Hirano is an excellent singer? That is why I give soundtrack 5 out of 5 stars. The animation in this show is very fluent and detailed. It isn't too flashy, but it has a certain charm to it. The character designs may be simplified, but are cute and effective nonetheless. Much of the character's movements at times are erratic and exaggerated, but this just shows you how fluid and smooth the animation really is. You honestly don't find better animation than this outside of a Studio Ghibli film. That is why I give animation 5 out of 5 stars. Character-wise, talking about the characters is pretty much talking about Haruhi, since most of their personalities and actions seem to evolve around her. Damn, talk about an inescapable personality. So with the exception of Kyon, the rest of the cast are pretty much there for comedic purposes. Also, Kyon's sarcastic narration of the story shows that not only is he a skeptical believer of the paranormal, but also as a comical commentary on Haruhi's strange behavior. Haruhi's character is a truly complex one, since she can be an incredibly lovable character, yet incredibly annoying at the same time. Let's just say that the energetic, fun-loving side of her personality is as addicting as crack cocaine, yet her pushiness, arrogance, selfishness, and brash attitude when bored can really get on your nerves. This is why I give characters a 4 out of 5 stars. Overall, this show was a lot of fun and definitely worth looking into. I actually think this show was an experiment to see what it would be like if the universe really did revolve around a single person, and boy was it a fun one! Despite having a few flaws, the show is handled masterfully and is quite a unique experience, and I definitely look forward to what the future plans are for this franchise. That is why I give The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya 5 style points and an overall rating of 8 out of 10. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have some unfinished business with a couple of paranormal investigating FBI agents in their next adventure. This is the American Anime Otaku, signing out.